High-stakes political showdown is underway in the United States. Donald Trump's electoral prospects in the upcoming midterm elections have suffered a major setback. Voters in Virginia have approved a controversial referendum to redraw congressional districts. And this basically could hand the Democrats up to 4 additional seats in the U.S. House of Representatives after the midterm elections. The decision is being seen as a major development in the escalating redistricting battle between the Democrats and the Republicans ahead of the midterm elections. Democrats say basically the move is a necessary response to Republican-led efforts in states like Texas, North Carolina, Ohio, where new maps have been drawn to favor the red camp.
I think what the administration is trying to do is very unfair. So I think it's important to vote yes on this to make sure that the elections are fair.
But then the Republicans are calling the referendum a power grab. Legal challenges are already underway, with key cases expected to be heard by the state Supreme Court in the coming days. Virginia's 11 House seats are split, with 6 held by Democrats, 5 by Republicans. But under the proposed new map, Democrats could gain a significant edge in as many as 10 districts, potentially shifting the balance of power in Washington. And this comes as Trump's approval ratings are on the downward trajectory. A new survey now indicating that approval of Trump's handling of the economy has also declined. The poll indicating that dissatisfaction is not limited to overall economic management, but extends to specific concerns like the cost of living and financial stability. Concerns about job security and wage growth appear to be contributing to this sentiment. The U.S. president is currently stuck in the Iran war handling, and this also coupled with the low approval ratings and partisan map making could prove to be the ultimate test for Donald Trump. Shifting focus, Mars has tempted human imagination for centuries. A frozen desert world once thought to be lifeless is now offering new clues about life itself. NASA's Curiosity rover has detected key chemical building blocks linked to biology. The biggest question is no longer if Mars was active, but how alive it may once have been possibly. Take a look.
It glows red in our night sky. It carries the scars of ancient impacts. It holds valleys deeper than Earth's oceans and volcanoes, taller than Everest. Mars has always felt less like a planet and more like a mystery waiting to be opened. Now that mystery has deepened again, NASA's Curiosity rover, exploring Gale Crater since 2012, has detected organic molecules considered essential building blocks of life. Researchers publishing in the journal Nature Communications said these carbon-based compounds do not prove life existed on Mars, but they are the raw ingredients from which life can emerge. That is why the discovery matters. Organic molecules are central to biology on Earth. They help form proteins, cell membranes, and complex chemistry linked to living systems. Finding them on Mars suggests the red planet once had the chemical potential needed for life. Scientists are still debating how these compounds arrived. They may have formed through geological reactions inside ancient Martian rocks. They may have been delivered by meteorites rich in carbon, or they may be remnants of a more complex environment from a wetter and warmer Martian past. Mars once looked very different. Billions of years ago, rivers carved channels across its surface, lakes filled craters. Frozen water remains locked in ice caps and underground deposits. Seasonal methane spikes have sparked debate. Ancient sediments preserve a record of environments where microbes, in theory, might have survived. Curiosity has not found Martians, it has found possibility. and every new sample brings humanity closer to answering one of science's oldest questions. Were we the first life in the cosmos, or merely one example of it?
West Asia continues to remain on edge, and the fragile ceasefire between the US and Iran continues to be tested. Iran has targeted and seized commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz now. The United States has been sending out warnings, and diplomacy appears to be unraveling. Let's break it all down for you. Iran's IRGC claiming it has attacked 3 commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. This comes just hours after US President Donald Trump announced the extension of the ceasefire. In fact, according to Iranian state media, 2 of those ships have been seized and are now being escorted towards Iranian territorial waters. One of the targeted vessels has been identified as a Panama-flagged vessel. Reports saying it was struck just 6 nautical miles off the Iranian coast while exiting the strait and heading into the Gulf of Oman. The ship has reported damage to its hull and crew accommodation areas. And this comes after just days of Iran saying that one of its ships was seized by the US. Another vessel, identified as Euphoria, has reportedly been hit and is now grounded off the Iranian coast. Iranian sources maintaining that warnings were issued to the ships before they were fired upon. Now, these actions also coming amid a broader war of words and military posturing. Iran's foreign minister, in fact, has called the US naval blockade of Iranian ports an act of war. Arakchi warning that Tehran is prepared to neutralize restrictions and resist bullying. Meanwhile, images released by Iranian state television showing advanced ballistic missiles were paraded through the streets of Tehran during a pro-government gathering there. These were the missiles that were used by Iran to strike US bases and Israeli targets.
فرزندان شما نیز پای لانچرها حیثیت استکبار را مفتضح کردند و در دوران سقوط نظامی.
And while the show of strength continues, what about the diplomatic efforts? They appear to have stalled as of now. Talks between Iran and Washington, which were expected to take place in Islamabad, seem to have collapsed at the last minute. A heavy lockdown, which was placed in the Pakistani capital, was eased, with the movement resuming across the city. The second round of the US-Iran talks could take place now within the next 3 days. That's the latest update. This is according to the New York Post. It cites unnamed Pakistani sources. It's possible, Trump reportedly told the New York Post by text message. When asked about sources in Pakistan, the US president reportedly said that a second round was expected in Islamabad within the next 36 to 72 hours. The development following an initial round of discussions reportedly facilitated by Pakistan. The Iranian Foreign Ministry has said Iran would only engage in peace talks with Washington where the situation permits a necessary and rational basis for negotiations to advance Tehran's national interests. Meanwhile, Trump has claimed that the ceasefire with Iran has been extended, and the ceasefire extension appears entirely unilateral. No confirmation from Iran as of now. Iranian officials are already downplaying the move, in fact, with advisors to Mohammad Ghalibaf saying Trump's words carry little weight. And as the situation on the ground continues to heat up, another critical concern about the state of the US military stockpiles is emerging. A new report by CNN, citing defense experts and sources familiar with Pentagon assessments, warning that Washington may be facing a near-term risk of running low on key missile systems after intense military operations against Iran under its operation. In fact, a major analysis by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, painting a striking picture. regarding the scale of expenditure. Since the war started in late February, the US has used up at least half of its THAAD missiles, nearly half of its Patriot air defense systems, and around 45% of its precision strike missiles. That's significant. And the numbers are just as important across other systems. Around 30% of Tomahawk missiles have been deployed, along with substantial use of joint air-to-surface standoff missiles, and roughly 20% of SM-3 and SM-6 interceptors. Experts now reportedly estimating that it could take anywhere between 3 to 5 years for the US to replenish its stockpiles to the pre-war levels, despite the recent defense contracts aimed at boosting production. So the situation as of now extends beyond the Strait of Hormuz. While the ships are being targeted and seized, the second pressure point is building up behind the scenes. The US has used a large share of its advanced missile stockpiles, and replenishing them will take years. For the moment, diplomacy remains stalled. The path ahead remains extremely uncertain.